they're missing the one bit. The one thing that's truly standing in your way of being consistent and disciplined. This is the motivator that doesn't waver with energy levels. Don't know why I haven't heard anybody explain it like this, and that can honestly be damaging to some groups of people, especially if you're neurodivergent and have ADHD. Because I have severe ADHD. It's not that you don't have enough willpower. It's not that you're lazy, but you're not Nike. But you'll have a deeper understanding of exactly what's standing in your way. It's much deeper than just willpower. But you have to bring your comfort zone to the life you want. And now I'm giving you the keys.
Welcome back, guys. This is Saturn Returns. My name is Crystal, and here we talk about healing in easy to understand and digest ways. Today we're going to be talking about discipline because there is a lot of toxic rhetoric around it. There's a lot of misinformation that could honestly be damaging to some groups of people, especially if you're neurodivergent and have ADHD. So I want to break this down because I have severe ADHD. I have found ways to be consistent in my life, and there's one bit of missing information that you do not find in a lot of the videos. Sometimes people get so close and they have so much good information, they're missing the one bit. The one thing that's truly standing in your way of being consistent and disciplined is your subconscious. It's the part that says, I don't feel like doing that today. I don't even want that. And it's a lie. And we're going to dive into that today. So a lot of people will tell you need willpower, you need to just do it, but you're not Nike. There are real things standing in your way. And the reality is that the motivation and the novelty wears off. Willpower is not going to take you anywhere. But what will take you somewhere is focusing on the life that you want and understanding what's standing in your way. Because if you can understand what's making you feel like, I don't want to do this. This is too much work. I don't have time. All the little things the subconscious will throw at you. You can actually recognize it and move forward anyway. And it won't feel like you're just trudging without reason, without purpose, without understanding. You will still feel like you're trudging sometimes. It will require you to show up for the life that you want, but you'll have a deeper understanding of exactly what's standing in your way. A key thing here too is that you have to show yourself that you'll go after the little things that you want first. This lets us gain the confidence and the trust. Remember, this is building on things we've already learned, but we need to build confidence and trust in ourselves to believe we can actually have whatever change we're trying to make in our life. Whatever we're trying to implement in our life, especially if it's something big, if it's career related, if it's some big, huge change that you're not used to, the subconscious is going to resist it. So I'm not here to waste anyone's time, so we're going to hop right in. The first thing is getting clear on what you want, but there's a caveat here. It needs to be what you authentically want, not someone else's dream that you're chasing because they had success with it. It needs to be what you want. That's how you're going to be motivated. If you're chasing something for a superficial reason or a materialistic reason, you're not going to see success with this. So you really have to know what you want, and we'll have a video that builds off of this one next week. If you don't know what you want, that's okay. Still stick around for this one because it's going to help you when we get there. The second thing you're going to need to do is figure out how what you want conflicts with existing beliefs that you have. And if you've been following my videos and doing the reprogramming work that we talked about in the observer video, which I will link, then you'll have a better idea of what might be standing in your way. But even if you don't, just ask yourself, what existing core belief might want to stop me from going after that? Do I have a fear of failure? Do I have a fear of success? Do I think good things are possible for me? Do I believe in myself? These are all things, and we need to identify them first, because remember from past videos, when the brain can identify something, it will flag it for us and bring us present, and you will have the knowing of what subconscious belief is standing in your way. You will know that it's not you don't want it or you don't have energy, because here's the thing, here's where the stuff that goes around is right. You still got to do it when you don't have the energy. Yeah, you still got to show up for you. You still got to be there for you even when you don't feel like being there. But hang with me, because I'm going to give you the information that makes it easier to see through the illusions that are actually holding you back. 3, and this is going to be huge for the ADHD people out there, because I remember my mind being blown when I figured this out. You have to shift how you look at tasks that help you reach your goals from looking at the time and the effort that they take into looking at the value and the outcome. This is the new way you're going to process anything that you want to do that furthers your life. Most of the time we're robbing ourselves of the motivation. The motivation lies in the outcome. But if we don't believe we can have that, that's where the subconscious can get in the way, which is why step 2 was what it was. This is the motivator that doesn't waver with energy levels. This is the part where when you are doing it without energy, you're not hating it, you're not dreading it, you're not saying, I don't like this, I don't want to do this. You're saying, this is the subconscious, it's scared to go after what I want, I'm going to do it anyway, because it's going to give me X, Y, Z. And every single time that you feel that dread, every single time that you don't have the energy, every single time you feel like you don't have the time, when in reality you might have spent a while scrolling for a bit, been there, Okay, not an attack. You're going to remind yourself of this. In fact, you can come back to this video, save this video if you need motivation. If you need to remember these things, save it. Send it to a friend. There are a lot of people out there that I think could benefit from this information, and this is a gap that is missing in the information going around about consistency and discipline. 4. This is the hard part. You actually have to start implementing it. You actually have to start taking the actions towards what you want. And during this time, we're going to be doing the reprogramming that we've already talked about, because this is going to give us the evidence that we are capable of moving forward with what we want. The brain, like we've discussed many times, needs evidence in order to solidify that new programming. And the old programming has a ton of evidence that is distorted. We talk about that in many other videos, okay? So go check those out if you haven't already. But confirmation bias, things that are very distorted, that is how it will try to paint the situation that you're trying to implement. While you're doing this process, I want you to practice reminding yourself that anything that resists this is subconscious. Anything that says, I don't want this or want to do this, is subconscious, because remember, you consciously decided you do want it. So when the subconscious pops up and says, I don't want it, it's because it's not feeling safe. It's outside of its comfort zone. It can't predict the outcome, and it wants to retreat. Anything that is standing in your way mentally is the subconscious, and when you can identify it, you can move forward anyway. You can say, I know I consciously want this. I made the choice for myself, so anything that's going against it right now is subconscious, and every single time that I do it anyway, I'm building the new neural pathway. You definitely need to go back and watch the videos that I've done before where we talk about this, but you're building the new neural pathway that supports this habit. And anytime we resist and we go with the old programming, it's getting stronger, and a lot of times it's had years or decades to develop, so you really don't want that. But just know, every time you do it, even when you don't feel like it and you do not want to, you are building that pathway, and it will eventually take hold and become effortless. You'll still have to put in the work, but there won't be any resistance, and it will feel effortless because you know what you're doing it for and you believe you can have it. And that doesn't start on day one. It requires a lot of reprogramming, especially if you have neurodivergence like ADHD, like I do. But every single day that you show up for yourself, you're building that trust, that confidence. This helps to snowball and give us the momentum to keep going. And I'm rebellious, okay? So when my subconscious tries to do its tricks, I'm like, not only are we going to show up today, but we're going to go above and beyond because I deserve it. My life, I deserve it. I deserve everything that I want for my life. You're telling me we don't want to do this? You know what? We're going to do this, and we're going to do just a little bit. I don't go overboard. We need baby steps, okay? But I'm going to do just a little bit extra because I'm in charge and I'm my authority, and so are you. 5. Now it's time to appreciate what you've done for yourself, how you've shown up for yourself. Allow yourself to really revel in what you've done, really feel accomplished, really appreciate yourself for showing up for you. You did that. You took a step towards going after the life you want. You took a step towards taking care of yourself. You took a step towards having everything that you are wanting. This becomes the feeling we can latch onto when we don't feel like doing it. When we don't feel like doing something, we can be like, but man, it helps my mental health so much whenever I do this. I feel lighter. I feel less anxious. I feel like I'm working towards something. I feel accomplished. I feel just generally good. And this is also what we remind ourselves of. It's part of that outcome, but how does it make you feel to do it? If you still don't feel good about doing it, it's very likely that you're still focusing on the time and the effort that it took, or that you haven't seen an immediate payoff. And that's another video for another day, I'm pretty sure. So I don't think I'm gonna have time for it today. But you need to be focusing on the outcome. No matter how far it is away, every single step you take will get you there. Successful people have this mindset. They believe they can have what they want. They go after what they want. And they do this through trusting themselves, trusting when they fall down, they're not just going to give up. They're going to get back up. They're going to see what lesson was there, and they're going to get back up, and they're going to go after the life that they want. And so will you when you understand it is just the subconscious that is standing in your way, sending out these feelings of, I don't have energy, I don't want to do it, all of these things. It's a lie. It's a lie. Once you decide you want to do something, you have consciously made the decision that you want the thing. Anything that resists that is subconscious for its own safety. And we have more on that in other videos. I'll put some in the end screen so that you guys can check out the videos that are relevant to this one. If you take these steps, you will start to trust yourself. I didn't trust myself at all when I first started trying to be functional, and I fell down and failed many times. That's okay. Check out my video on the structures of healing for that, which I'll put up here. It's a process. You have to do these little steps to gain that trust, to gain that confidence. I I now know I don't make the choice each day as to whether or not I'm going to show up and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I already made this choice. I don't make this choice every day. But I used to be terrified that I wouldn't be able to follow through, that just because I showed up today doesn't mean I'll be able to show up the next day or the day after that. I don't deal with that anymore. I'm showing up because I know I will get where I am going, and so will you. Part of it too is seeing that these are not obligations. This is another thing that needs to be rewired. You're not just forced to do this task. It's supporting the life you want. It's not an obligation. It's a supportive step. It's a supportive action that actually moves you forward in life, even if it doesn't happen as fast as you want it to. Know that with each step, it's happening. Okay? Especially if when you fall, you get back up and you say, well, what can I learn? This is not failure. This doesn't mean I can't do it. I'm going to get back up. What can I learn? What can I do to move forward? Is my schedule too rigid? Am I expecting too much of myself? What is standing in my way? And so we shift how we look at things from being an obligation on a to-do list, right? To-do lists are really just to keep us organized, not to keep us in slavery to the growing list. And if you're like me, I used to constantly add to my list. When I finished it, I added more, and I would never be done with it, and I never felt accomplished. It's not obligatory. It's supportive. It's self-love. It's believing you are worthy too. This is why it can be hard for us to follow through, because these are the subconscious things standing in your way. Believing you can't have what you want, not feeling worthy of what you want, not trusting yourself to go after what you want. These are the things that people don't talk about in these videos when they talk about how you can truly be consistent and disciplined. It's much deeper than just willpower. In fact, willpower will go away when these things really start beating down the door. But if you can recognize them, you understand it's all just old programming, and you will be able to move past it. After a while, this stuff will start to become automatic as the programming is being installed, that you can have whatever it is you want, that you will go after it, that you trust yourself with it. And you'll no longer be looking at it as purely how much time and effort does it take, but you'll be truly seeing things differently. You'll automatically look at something you want to do, and you will perceive first the value and the outcome it's going to give you. You do need to factor in the time and the effort, so you make sure you don't overextend yourself, but that should be secondary. The first thing we should be looking at is the value and the outcome it's going to bring to our life. We can't make an informed decision if the only thing we're looking at is the time and the effort and dreading it. We really have to allow it to balance. Is it worth it? And many times we're not going to feel like it's worth it if we don't have an immediate payoff, or if it's going to take a long amount of time, or if the outcome is uncertain. You have to get comfortable in that uncertainty. And this is another thing too that I may have a whole video on, but you have to bring your comfort zone to the life you want. I've not heard anyone say it like this. You can't just leap out of the comfort zone. The nervous system does not respond well to that. It will pull you back in. It will shut down. You will fail. You have to take baby steps. I know you might be ambitious. I'm a Capricorn rising, so I know I'm ambitious as well. But if you want to maintain your drive, and if you want to get there consistently, steadily, permanently, and be able to endure, you need to take baby steps. Yeah, the impatience is rough, but you need to take the baby steps, because what you're doing is, imagine the subconscious as a cage. You take one step out. This is uncomfortable. And in fact, if you're not uncomfortable, then you're not changing and you're not healing, because there should be at least a little uncomfortability, okay? So you take one step out, you're very uncomfortable. You don't leap, you just take a baby step. Eventually, you show yourself you're safe with that baby step. You make this process safe. So the cage, it moves up, and then you have to take a step out, and then it follows behind as you prove to your subconscious that you can keep yourself safe in a different way that's not restricting. You take another step, it follows. Eventually, you are safe to hold the life you want. Don't know why I haven't heard anybody explain it like this, but you are not moving outside your comfort zone to go run after what you want. You are bringing your comfort zone to the life you want, because otherwise it's not sustainable. Your nervous system will freak out. You will fall down. If you find yourself with your nervous system freaking out, your body freaking out, feeling really lethargic, all of that, this means you've tried to leap. You've tried to take too many steps. What's one small step you can take to go after what you want? We have so much energy and we're so zealous when we start this process, but sometimes that leads to us overextending and expecting too much, putting our nervous system on edge where we have to retreat back and we feel like we failed and now we're discouraged. Again, go check out my Structures of Healing video for more information on this. We're bringing our comfort zone to the life we want. Now I'm going to give you guys a little bit of examples from my personal life. So I was bedridden for 2.5 years. If you've been here for a bit, you already know that. I had a chronic illness that I was allergic to stress. I would have anaphylactic type reactions to stress, and I was bedridden. And I was very, very capable as a person before that. However, the life I was living wasn't sustainable. I could get to success, and I looked around and thought, I'm only one person and I can't sustain this. And so it would fall off. But I'm at a point now where I can be successful and sustain what I'm building by reining it in a little bit. I tried many times to become functional again after being bedridden, and I fell down so many times because immediately I would get up and try to do everything that I used to do. And I would just try to willpower my way through it. And I fell and I doubted myself and I thought I was never going to get my life back. And this went on for almost a year. And so this is why I say baby steps. This was me trying to leap outside the comfort zone. Don't do that. Learn from my mistakes. But I started with just taking care of myself, doing a little bit of chores around the house, one at a time. I would add one thing. And I started with doing the bare minimum for myself. And I'm now at a point where I spoil myself. It's wild to me because this whole bit has built my self-worth. I've showed myself I am worthy to show up for. I deserve the life I want. For example, I always make my coffee at night because I have iced lattes and I'll just put them in the fridge. And I make them because I don't want to have to do anything when I wake up in the morning. I want a relaxing period. I just want to be able to chill and exist and come into consciousness. And I feel like I deserve that. I also prep my breakfast and my food for the day as well. That way, when I'm busy or if unexpected things come up or if I do have a moment where I don't feel like doing things or I'm feeling down in life, I took care of me. I showed up. I made it so I can just go grab something, warm it up, and be done. And sometimes if I'm working, I'll prep for 2 days in a row. That way, I don't have to worry about it on the days that I have to work at all. And I went from just not being able to show up for myself to spoiling myself. These are the little things that you can do because afterwards I'm like, I like how this feels. I love how I feel. I look for reasons that I can show up for myself now, just in case I need that. I love that future me looks back and thanks past me. And I think that I deserve that, and you do as well. But this is just an example with the self-care things. There are definitely other things, but this was the first thing that I did that I really struggled with. This is being filmed when the second video just went out, and this is the 5th or 6th. I'm like 3 weeks ahead. And I have made a very sustainable schedule. That is very, very important, is that what you are doing is sustainable for you. If you find that it is too much, rein it back in a little bit. You don't have to say, oh no, I can't do it and I failed. You just have to look at, okay, did I maybe take too much on? Should I maybe try taking a baby step first? You can assess it rather than just throw your hands up and say, I give up, I can't do it, because you can. Every successful person went through this in some way. They had to learn. You are learning. You can't just expect to just be successful. Many times when people are successful, they've had many different life experiences that trained them for it. And a lot of times it doesn't happen like that. And sometimes when it does, those people have tried before with other businesses, other social medias. They've gained the knowledge they need so that now it looks like they just took off and went going. No, this is a learning experience. You're not expected to just be successful right away. You're not expected to not make mistakes. You're not expected to not fall down. It's just that when you fall down, you examine it and you look at it and you get back up. It is the subconscious that is standing in your way. It's not that you don't have enough willpower. It's not that you're lazy. It's not that you just can't commit to anything. It's that you didn't understand what was standing in your way. And now I'm giving you the keys, and then the ball's in your court. It's also important to start with just one small thing that doesn't mean as much to you in your life, because there may be many mindsets standing in your way on the spiral staircase, again, Structures of Healing video, in accomplishing the one thing. So before you put something out there that means so much to you, start with smaller aspects in your life that you struggle to remain consistent on, and really revel in how it feels. How good did you feel about yourself? Every time you start to think about the time or the effort, I want you to immediately flip-flop and think about how that made me feel about myself, how that made me trust myself, how that made me feel like I could follow through on things, how that made me feel like the adultiest adult, how that made me feel like a successful person, how that made me feel like I'm a go-getter. Whatever it is, I want you to really, really focus on it. Could just be appreciating yourself. I showed that I appreciated myself with this, and I really like how that feels. These are tiny wins. Giving your brain the evidence of what it feels like to have that life, because it doesn't know. It's in the unknown. It's uncertainty. You have to give it how it's going to feel, the evidence. You have to give it the evidence of how that's going to feel. And you have a chance to do that every time you show up. How did this make me feel? What did this do for me? This is the evidence to support the new programming, and the brain is highly evidence-based. It needs it. And while we're talking about evidence, the subconscious gets its evidence when we try to jump too far, when we try to leap, when we try to take on too much. It logs that that as, see, I can't do it. I'm not going to be able to follow through. I can't trust myself. I can't have that. I'm not capable. You are reinforcing the old programming, the subconscious programming that was installed in you as a child. Whenever you become overzealous and you try to leave, it is very important that you do not allow itself to reinforce itself that way, because that just makes it harder to get rid of. Baby steps are the key. Things that are small, sustainable, don't make you feel too overwhelmed or too much like, I can't do that. That's an indicator that you have stepped too far out of the comfort zone. You're never going to feel ready. There's a difference. But if something puts you so far out that it's not sustainable or you simply can't believe in it yet, you got to take a smaller step, because otherwise it's self-sabotage. It is. And it will be logged as evidence that you can't do it and you can't have the life you want. And that is the last thing we want. And I want to challenge you. Every time you find yourself in a point of struggle, whenever the new programming and the new life that you're trying to build is challenged, I want you to appreciate it. I want you to appreciate it because it's a moment where you are building that neural pathway up stronger. And it is a point where you are changing. Healing happens in those really hard moments. And I went too far in my journey without realizing and really appreciating the journey, really appreciating the struggles. And if we can change how we look at struggle too, and understand that it is there to challenge and expand us and move us from the life we've always known and not really enjoyed into the life that we want, then we'll stop resisting struggle as much, and you'll gain a lot of momentum with your subconscious reprogramming the moment that you stop seeing struggles as something bad or to be avoided. If you see a struggle, know that clarity is coming, change is coming. How do you want to handle it? Do you want to run from it? Do you want to avoid it? Do you want to feel bad and depressed about it? Or do you want to look at what it's trying to teach you? So each time you run into those struggles of not having enough energy, not feeling like it's what you want anymore, try to feel appreciative of the fact that you've just got yourself a moment to reprogram, an opportunity that will build the pathway that gets you closer to the life you want, instead of feeling like you're trudging and you just hate every step, okay? Because that only reinforces the old programming too. Next week, we're going to talk about knowing what you want, and that will build on this one. So if you watch this one, but you're still not sure what you want, you're going to want to tune in for that one, because this was a huge thing for me. Even though technically I had known since I was a kid what I wanted, my subconscious, it wanted other things, so it made it really hard to know, do I want this? We're gonna walk through all of it next week. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you have anything you want to see me talk about, drop it in the comments below or the Google form. If you guys like this content, or if you find it helpful in any way, please share, like, subscribe, leave a comment. It helps the channel out and helps me be able to reach more people so that my experiences can be the guidance and the help that you guys need on your healing journey. I love you all. Thank you for being here. Bye.